and welcome to our very second book talk. So guys, the Mistborn. This book is so good. First, I'd like to say it's really amazing and easy to get into without like an unloading bomb. Like the fantasy is awesome. The fantasy, the world it's set in is basically Evil One. The Lord Ruler basically has been ruling for over 1,000 years, and we center on two characters, Vin and Kelsier. And Kelsier is the dude to change the tempo. He's like, whoa, why can't we oppose this big bad dude? He's this master thief, and so basically it's like gathering a bunch of these thieves together to pull off the biggest heist, quotes. It's like this cool heist fantasy novel mix. It's like this, and it has this really, really great magic element. It's called allomancy, and so you basically burn metals to gain abilities. It's ridiculously cool. It's a trilogy, and they're actually, I believe it's like a trilogy of trilogies. Like he's doing another trilogy in the same world so many years after whatever occurred. Like, I don't know. So now we got the spoilies section coming up, so I will see those who've read the book in just a second. So let's just jump in this book from like beginning to end. I'm going to discuss plot points I thought affected it and just parts maybe I liked. I don't want to get into too deep, but there's so much going on in this book that cohesively works together. Right, so for the prologue, we have, this prologue for this book is so amazing. It just really just sets you in the setting. It's like, you know, you got the ash everywhere, the ska working the farm, or the plantation, and you got the nobility, what is it, Tresting, I think? Lord Tresting, he's just like, whoosh, 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 whoosh. Because Kelsier was trying to get these group of people to leave and rebel. Of course they wouldn't because they're so scared. So then he just doesn't give them a choice. It's ridiculous. And then Menace is just like, well, I guess we gotta go. It's great. Now next we center on Vin. There were some things about Vin that was very intriguing, and then it just, you know, it feels weird because personally I've just lived a great life. I don't know what it feels like to be constantly beaten. I don't know what it feels like to be excluded, to be this, and plus she's a woman. I mean, she's like facing threats every single day without her brother Reed, which he plays a big role in this. And for the whole book, I'm like, Reed's coming back. I don't know if it's this book or the next book or the book after that. I just have this gut feeling Reed is coming back because, like, I know they later mentioned on that he was like, oh, he screamed and said, oh, she didn't die, and like didn't quote betray her in the end. But come on, guys. We think Reed's coming back. I do, at least. So Vin has this really interesting element, and she doesn't even know she is a Mistborn. Vin was using the zinc that someone naturally has, which is a metal, so stuff you get from food, but she would constantly use it. She'd constantly use it whenever, and she's like, oh, it takes months to build back up, just use it. And so this crew leader thought of her as her good luck charm, or maybe he did know that she had allomancy, which Vin had run with Marsh. I think he can burn brass or copper. One of them reveals allomancy, and he can tell what kind of allomancy he has. So that leads Kelsier to coming in, hiring Vin. That cutscene where Kelsier just comes in, and he's just like,
behold, I am the survivor I have seen.
And everyone's like,
oh my god, survivor, survivor.
And it just was hilarious, and the way he was just like, now you will kill it. Like, you know, it just, I read it as like a comedy-like scene. Some people probably didn't, but it was hilarious in my mind. I was just cracking up laughing because it just had this funny element of comedy. So then it continues to proceed talking about this whole betrayal for Vin because of Reed. And at some points it gets repetitive, but ultimately in the long haul, it doesn't feel repetitive because as it reveals more and reveals more, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I understand. And it plays a really, really big aspect into the character. All right, so next we have this thing where Kelsier just goes into Venture Keep and just for Atium, and he just goes in Venture Keep and he just smashes skulls. It's just like ridiculous. The way Brandon Sanderson writes fight scenes is so satisfying. I don't know how else to put it. If you guys didn't like the fight scenes, I mean, what? Fight scenes are great. The magic system, if I had to have one of those abilities, if I were here, like, you know, in normal Earth, I think I'd burn zinc because it's like a manipulative thing and it would become very useful in society. But if I were to live in the fantasy world that Brandon Sanderson created, I'd have to have pewter because I'm just like, I know it burns really quickly, but if I could like manipulate it, you know, only do it when I'm blowing, I mean, it would help so much. All right, so moving on, we get to meet all of these new characters, and this Brandon Sanderson, man, I've read Steelheart and Firefight. I haven't read like Elantris or some of his other works, but the characters in this, guys, it's so good. They all have their own personalities. They clash. They really feel like this family of people. Except for Eden. We all know Eden. We hate him. After we get introduced to these characters, it's like the crew, you know? And then also we get to learn what Vin gets to do. And so she's going to pose as Valet Renox. So she's got to be the in on what's going on in the noble families. Because their goal is to get the noble families to just clash. And so this is like, so we've got thieving and stuff. We got all this cool, like, espionage. But the balls, like the parties and stuff, it's such a great break from all this tension. It's like, it's still tense, but it's just like, okay, we're back at a ball. The atmosphere is really great. I really enjoyed it. Plus, we get to meet Ellen Venture, another great character. He's like the heir to the great, the most well-known keep at this point. The most well-known noble family, like the richest, all that great whatnot. So we've got Ellen and Vin. Vin has no idea who Ellen is. And so we get to learn this really great aspect that precedes is Ellen and Vin. And the 16-hour drag thing was scary. I was like, whoa. I was thinking that they would like pass out, Vin would, whenever we got into the action, so that she'd be like captured or something, but that, that didn't happen. So all of a sudden, Brandon Sanderson connects the prologue with this, like in the very middle of the book, and we have Menace come back. He's like, oh yeah, you remember me? I was with Lord Trusting's plantation. It's just like, I love that. I love connecting it. I really like the prologue myself, and that is why I love that connection. Eden just screwed up. It's gonna happen, it's bound to happen, and we knew one of the characters was going to die. But I just figured Eden was gonna be the first one to die. But Marsh, I thought Marsh was gonna die so easily, but he didn't. Like, I just expected it. I was like, okay, he's just gonna die. We have Marsh. He has to infiltrate the Steel Ministry. So I was like, okay, they're gonna get valuable information out of him, but he's like a means to an end. He's not gonna be any different. He's gonna die after they get valuable intel, and it's just gonna progress the plot. Because that's what sometimes characters for. They got the information, he did, quotes, die. And I was like, okay, whatever. Except, I get mind blown. Which you guys all know about that, but Kelsier comes in, he just destroys the pits of Hathsin. And so immediately we're thinking, Lord Ruler knows he's just gonna kill everybody. Not everybody, but a lot of people. So Kelsier's like, oh no, it ain't going down. But he knew it was a trap. It's a trap! We need General Akbar up in here. Star Wars reference. Anywho, he comes in, he knows it's a trap, but he still goes in anyway. He just figures it's now or never, basically. And so we have this massive, I'm getting too excited, this massive, like, beatdown with the Inquisitor. And, that was good. I really enjoyed that sequence, that fight sequence. And he's like, boom, boom, boom. And finally, he just cuts off his head. It took so long, but it felt so good. And then also there was that little thing where you, like, pushed the cart or something, and you, like, jump through it, and like, not Matrix style, but you know what I'm saying. It's just, like, super cool how he just like that. And the Inquisitor's like,
Dang, he's good.
and so I really kind of liked that. It kind of felt comedic in a way, but it, it wasn't. I just kind of enjoyed that little sequence. So Kelsier, everything suddenly just, boom, Lord Ruler's coming. And I'm like, yes! I knew it was coming. I knew Kelsier was going to die. That part was obvious because they kept referring to Vin as a daughter, kept looking back at religion, so it was bound to happen. So Lord Ruler comes in and he's going down the big market way. Everyone's parts away like the Red Sea. And so now I'm like, oh, he's going to die. He dies. That part was kind of like, what? I mean, at first, you knew it was going to happen, but it was so intense that you didn't feel anything. Like, you felt the way Vin felt. Everything was just happening so fast. And also, you're like, and Vin felt that way. She did, like, have a sudden outburst of crying, but that's what Brandon Sanderson can do. Okay, as we move on, Vin takes it up upon herself to figure out what's going on. Basically, she infiltrates the palace, they have a showdown, and Vin discovers with the 11th medal that he wasn't the hero of ages. He was his servant. So yeah, he rips off the armband that stores age, and he basically dies, shrivels up. But when Marsh came in to save Vin temporarily, I was like, oh. Because I figured Marsh was gonna die, so now Marsh has a bigger role to play in the second book. So yeah, that was basically the book, but now let me go into my predictions and what's gonna happen. So now we have this empire. We found out that the ATM store was gone. What? Marsh is alive, so what's gonna happen to Marsh? Is he gonna be... We know that he leads the Steel Ministry, and so the crew is actually going to take a political standpoint to rule over this new kingdom, but there's no way that they're going to be able to control all of these kingdoms. I mean, you still got other enemies, you still got other things, and you still got some of these nobles that escaped. There's going to be a lot of stuff going down in the second book. It's going to be more like rebuilding the kingdom, but it's going to be... Marsh, I think he's going to be playing a role. I think he's going to turn bad. I think the deepness is going to play a key role in that. I don't know. I'm really excited to figure out if the deepness is like a powerful thing or if it's like a creature. What I think is that, because, you know, the third book is called The Hero of Ages, so that it's like a cog in the gear system, basically. Lord Ruler probably just postponed whatever was coming. I think since the third book is called The Hero of Ages, I think Vin is probably the hero of the age. And that's where Well of Ascension is going to pick back up. So that was the book talk. I talked a really, really long time. I'm sorry for that, but I'm really excited about this book. So guys, that was the end of the Mistborn book talk. I'm very glad that you guys were able to watch it and read this book. If you guys don't know, the second and third book is called The Well of Ascension, and the third book is called Hero of Ages. It's a Mistborn trilogy. So I will get that Well of Ascension video out to you as soon as possible. And remember, subscribe for more content, and Twitter and Instagram links are down in the description. I'll see y'all later in the next video. Goodbye.